Okay, here's a fun video version I've never done before. I'm going to do a brief little, overview of what's going on here. Just because I can't spend too much time making videos, because I got to make the machine that makes the videos. So, playing with my Samsung Note 20, definitely an active part of my studio. I'm back in the parking garage that I used to spend a lot of time sleeping in. But now that I have money, I come here to work on the car, because there's nowhere I can work on the car, like in Bellevue where I live. So I come here now and I pay to rent my spot. And I usually get busy. I come here with a plan, and I call it a product bomb exploded. So I usually come in, I empty the vehicle, get things organized for work. So that's like the first hour, just kind of getting the stuff that I don't need in this spot, because today's project is going to be like sound deadening, thermal insulation. I got a really good deal at Amazon for this company called it's like Silas, I think. It's basically like Dynamat, which is the layer of insulation and sound deadening that hits the bare metal of the car. And then on top of that, it's like a different style of insulation that's more, like vapor barrier, antimicrobial, still sound deadening, still shock absorption, thermally insulating. Will eliminate a lot of the road noise while driving the vehicle, but not just that. As far as, when you're trying to pack a lot of things into a vehicle, for living in it, and then for being able to quickly, balloon out to make the pop-up videos. I've got to make everything extremely efficient. Everything's got to be, everything's got to do like more than one job, basically. It's kind of like in the Navy when I was on a submarine. They don't keep anybody on the boat that just does one job, because everybody has to be able to do everybody's job in the event of an emergency. So submarines don't have 5,000 people. So it's kind of like the same thing with the car. I'm all dialed in on efficiency. I want, all the space in the car. I'm trying to maximize it. I can't load this thing down with sound, so I just have one little speaker. It's like an 11-inch sub. But for the performances, I'll be doing probably getting a second JBL Party Box 110. I have one right now. There's another deal at Amazon for $288 instead of $399, so I gotta jump on that. Before I go into the vehicle, another one of the changes I'm going to be doing is I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm like, well, how do I create more space? You can't pack a shit ton of sound in here because, well, for one, that's the sound. It's a bass hub by JBL. It's the non-powered version of the bass hub. So it needs power, and that's what the audio controller is. Now, that's not a permanent location. Ideally, I'm going to open this up. So the solution that I just discovered, which I'm very excited about, I've been looking for a trailer hitch for this car. The trailer hitch is going to go down here. Basically, it's going to hook across the entirety, and then right here in the middle, beneath Bernie, yay Bernie, is going to come out the female side of the receiving hitch. Now, I'm not going to be using a tow trailer. What I'm going to be doing with the hitch is getting an adapter that turns into a spare tire holder on the back. So before coming over here, I went to Facebook Marketplace, which is, I'm always on there trying to find a screaming deal. I know the things that I need. I start doing a bunch of searches, and just when I was about to give up and come here, I find a trailer hitch for $50. And, they're a couple $100. It's a big chunk of iron. And the guy immediately responded, which rarely happens. And he says, yeah, come pick it up. So it's mine. I got the trailer hitch for $50. For $60, I'll get the adapter, and then I'll be able to move that spare tire out of there. And that's going to give us a lot of space. And so this little guy, he'll probably sit there for now, but I might try and move him over there. So today's job, and what I paid for is I'm going to try in the next few hours before my ticket runs out to get this all degreased. And then I'll try and, pull up what I can, because that's the factory sound deadening, that kind of discolored dark gray. So I'll clean it up as best I can. I guess we'll probably utilize it since it's good sound deadening. I might try and, we'll see. I need to get this stuff out. So there's a lot of prep anytime I do a job here. And this is why I'm not going to be too intense with this video, because, there's only one of me. I do have Radim now, which is helpful. But he needs training, so I've got to train him. And, it'll be worth it in the end. He's really excited about this, and I'm really excited to have him. I'm really grateful that, I found in an old friend, like 20 years now. He's always been reaching out to me and stuff, and he's excited to be a part of this. And there's a lot of backstory with Radim, and perhaps we'll get an opportunity to tell that story later. But first, I'm going to try and briefly explain my method and how I do this. The idea is, obviously, I'm in an empty parking garage, and it is the weekend, so it will be dead. And I have paid for my spot, so even when the security rolls around, they will just look and drive off. So I do have the space, but I still try and maintain the same mentality as when I was using the space and not paying for it, and when I was living in the car, and that is to try and not, obviously this is definitely drawing attention, but it could be worse. Look at all that. So what I do is I quickly try and assemble my station. So today I'm putting down effectively what's called sound deadening. Dynamat's a very popular example. The stuff I'm going to be using is this stuff. This is the second layer. It's kind of like a dark, leathery looking, almost like a vinyl. It's got an adhesive on one side. And then, at the bottom of that box, and I'll fish it out later, is this silver looking more like Dynamat style. I got 50 square feet of both of them, which is huge, for about $50 each. Usually they're bundled in like 36 square feet for most of the brands, like Killin' It or whatever, or Kill It, or Killin', I don't know what the hell the other one is. This one's like Silas, or I'll have to get the name. It doesn't matter. Ideally, I'll know the names in the future. So, because I'm operating on the resources that I'm generating from school, and I'm dropping every dime of it into bills and people that I owe money to, but the bulk of it is going towards building up the stuff that I need to launch this. So I've got the computer lab at home going on, and right now I'm doing a lot of the kind of the gutting work now. And unfortunately, I got to Home Depot right near the end, and so I wasn't able to get all the parts because I didn't have enough time to really think about it while I was shopping. And it's really challenging because I'm not dialed in with my computer setup right now, and so it's a lot of work just to organize all the stuff that needs to be done. Like, I've literally got everything sitting in my apartment, like all the audio systems there. I've got all the computers. I've got some Raspberry Pis now for the motor vehicle computers. I've got the tools and the special tapes and the cleansing agents and all that stuff, but I didn't get everything. And so, I'd spent all day in the house, and I decided it's important that I get out, and I like to be out working on the car. It's so important that this car is ready. And once this car is ready, I can start practicing it, the whole mission, which was to make music videos from the road. Something I've been telling people I'm going to be doing for like 3 years now, and no one's really seen much. I haven't even been making very many videos because I've just been focusing on school and, getting housed and all that stuff. So it's like, to me, every day I need to be working on this, and I do most days. And any day that I don't work on it is something that I lament because, I got plenty of time to rest when the work is done. I want this done. This needs to be done. And it's just me. I can't just work in a garage. I have to spend an hour loading up, an hour getting to the location, an hour prepping, not to mention, procuring supplies. And this is why, I'd love to have a video kind of thing set up and showing it, but I'll eventually piece all these together and make some sense of it chronologically. So, historically, that's one of my original tables. For bigger projects, I usually lay down a piece of wood, or those are the factory, kind of like it goes back in there to hide all the ugliness of the metal. So I'll set that up to make my little stand. When working with Dynamat, usually you have this special kind of a flooring roller, and you press it, into the metal really good and make sure it's all dialed in. Of course, after you degrease it. And in the absence of all the tools, I've had to make a lot of kind of like MacGyver decisions, square peg, round hole kind of decisions. And so here's going to be an overview of some of the new stuff that I bought, and then I'll tell you some of the stuff that I got from Dave and how I intend to use it. So with the Dynamat, you're going to go through with a degreasing layer, just degrease the shit out of it. Make sure that there's nothing that can, interfere with the adhesive. And so, I've been meaning to order a set of the rollers from Amazon because, they've got a set of 3 rollers with also some trim picks, the things that you use to pull the trim off the car. It's like a 8-piece set for like $17. And I go to Home Depot today and I just say, well, I'll just buy a roller because I didn't get one from Amazon. The roller's a super important part. And they're like 30-something bucks. And I'm like, well, even if I take care to like pull it out very carefully from the package and return it, it's going to be a hefty job. And it's going to get kind of some wear marks on it. So I'm like, I'm not spending $30 because I probably won't be able to return it. So I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to have a roller. So as I'm hastily running through there, I'm like, okay, well, I'll grab this. This is pretty cheap. This is like 12 bucks at Home Depot. And I got this because I'm going to redo the fabric that's in there. See, there's a piece of leaf that's on the inside of the window. So it's just starting to look really shoddy, really ghetto. My back window job is just atrocious. It's all tape. There's light that shows through. It's not ideal. And so my thoughts were I was going to pull this stuff down, pull out all the trim around those. Like those are done really well. Pull them out, pull the fabric out. Probably drop a layer of this that's cut properly because I didn't do a good job with the templates last time. So that's why there's all those gaps around the windows. So I hope to, at least for the back 3 windows, to overlap the window against the metal of the car where the metal's holding the window. So you'll see nothing but coverage, from the other side of the window. Because I got this miraculous new tape, so I'm able to actually this time use this double-sided sticky industrial nano tape. It's a 2-sided nano tape or something. It's basically like glue. Once you peel the adhesive label off of it, and it's also something that coincidentally you can take off, wash, and reuse. I love how we're all starting to get into this. Instead of consumer mentality where, if it ain't broke, don't throw it away and buy a new one. And I think we're seeing a shift in that direction. So it's really good to be a part of that. Like I didn't know if that was going to come. So everyone's kind of doing their part. Big corporations, there's a lot of big things happening right now. So anyways, I digress. So I have to kind of make do with not always the right parts. I was looking through at the contact paper, saw it was like $20 for like not enough to be the car. So I'm like, well, how do I get these windows a little bit darker without, tinting them? So I'm going to give this a shot. This is a really, really dark, fine screen material. that I picked up from Home Depot. It was like $13. It was the cheapest one, but coincidentally also had the largest square footage. And, well, I don't speak screen lingo, but, well, there's a whole bunch of data on there that were a real techie in that regard, I'd probably know what they all meant, but I don't give a shit. It's fucking big. When choosing things for, that are going to be visible outside, I try not to buy like a small roll. I want something that's going to be able to cover the window in one stretch. And the back one's kind of the one you really got to worry about, because usually most of the stuff you buy will kind of end here, and then you've got a seam. So I'm trying to, create a constant, continuous, unbroken facade as viewed from the outside. So the thoughts are, okay, I've got this fabric, I've got the thermally insulating stuff, which I'll do another layer of that. This is what I'm going to press against the window. It is a screen, but there's going to be a black fabric behind it, so it should break up kind of this janky looking, you can see wrinkles in the fabric and stuff. So I'm hoping that the screen material will diffuse the texture of the fabric, and I can get a nice strong press against it to at least hold it, and that'll thermally insulate that. And then I'm going to try and do a really good job just insulating the floor, the wheel well, pull off that trim, hit the behind the trim, just to kind of create as much of a sound and vibration barrier back here as I can. As well here, this is going to be a big one. That's coming off. Hit all this up. And so hopefully my intention in doing such a good job on the backside first, and then secondary will be this door, that door, and the other two. If there's any left over, then I'll hit the floors probably first. I don't think there'll be enough left over, but the final would be like the headliner. What that's going to do is that's going to eliminate a lot of road noise. And then from a inside the car perspective, with that back hood shut right there, what you're going to get is the sound inside the vehicle isn't going to escape through kinetic energy. So rattling is a way for that energy to kind of escape the car. Road noise, which means that there's a way for the sound to escape before it gets to the ears. It's a really dumbed down version of it. But the idea is, in the absence of mega sound systems, make the sound that you have sound as good as possible by not losing any of that sound to ambient losses. So with the sound deadener, what I'm hoping is, because this car is a station wagon, the effect of the sub is going to be kind of like a bass tube, in that it will use the car's volumetric volume here as a part of the speaker's resonance. So it'll kind of be like a port on a box that's in front of the speaker instead of porting the rear. So it's kind of like using the car as an enclosure, and it is more or less a standalone. It's actually made of, here, let's get some light. It's actually made of metal. Like, check this out. This thing's fucking burly, and it sounds good. It's clean. Now, it's not going to win any shows, but it's clean. I think it will be sufficient with the two external speakers. I don't think I'll be adding any more in here. Once I free that up, I've got to probably build some shelves up around the side, and I'm thinking I'm just going to try and block off the back, so that it's not really usable. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. So yeah, I'm going to get started on this. I'll probably shoot some pictures later on. I know it's not a very organized, none of this is really organized, description, but we'll play catch up. I kind of decided at one point it's not as important that I capture all of the how was it done in chronological order. I think it's more important that I just get to the point where it's doing what it's designed to do, and fuck all how I got here. I've been doing videos of the lead up for 3 years, and I'm not even interested in those videos anymore. So yeah, this is a good time to kind of do a little midway point. I have been doing a lot of work, but now I'm banging it out. So yeah, all right. Catch y'all later.